Hello and welcome to another edition of my blog. I'm Dr. Filomena Trindade and today I'm going to respond to some of your requests. So with these blog posts and videos that I've been making, many of you have requested recipes, particularly when I'm talking about nutrition and helping the immune system in this fight against COVID-19 disease. So today I'm going to share with you some of my recipes, and we're going to start with soups because there's a saying that all my friends know that at my house there is always soup and salad. May not be something else, but there usually is. However, soup and salad is always present, at least at lunch and dinner. And that really comes from the tradition of growing up in the Azores, because we always have soup before the meal, or in other words, we may have an appetizer, but we always have soup along with a meal. And then I've added salad because I eat a very plant-based diet. Believe me, I'm a carnivore and I like my meat and I love my fish, and especially my free-range beef because it's particularly good here in the Azores. But I have it so that the largest portion of my plate, as you have seen in my prior editions, is plant-based. So today I'm gonna share with you three main soups, and this really comes from a recent article that was talking about glutathione, which is the most potent antioxidant that we possess in our body, and its ability to fight against the COVID-19 disease. This article also talked about how those patients who were intubated and in severe respiratory failure due to the coronavirus or the SARS-CoV-2 virus all had very low glutathione levels and low antioxidant amounts, or I should say antioxidant scores. So we want to focus on the things that particularly increase glutathione levels, starting with our food. And I've mentioned some of these before, but the power of repetition commits things to memory, right? So, number one, asparagus. And you can cream it, as for a soup. We're not going to be doing that today, but that is one way that you can do it. Cauliflower is another. We're going to be making a cauliflower and celery soup. Another is kiwi, when you're thinking about fruits. And a further one is avocado, which are not in season here, and I pretty much eat for seasons, so I don't have it available. But today we're going to do three main soups. One is going to be our base of cauliflower and then celery, and I make my soups very simply. That one does have a little bit of white potato, especially fingerling potatoes. And then the other is going to be a carrot and pumpkin soup with a little bit of ginger. And the third is my hodgepodge. It's basically when you open your refrigerator and you don't know what to do, and you're going to say, oh, but Dr. Trindade can make soup just about of anything. And you just put everything in. If it's already cooked, you just cream it, add some water. Usually add the water first, cream it, and add some spices. And sometimes if I have other vegetables, like green leafy vegetables like chard, for example, or kale, or spinach, or watercress, then I'll add that. So, on to the soups. But before I do that, I can't help but share with you another article that was by Deanna Minnick that talks about nutrients and how we can obtain these antioxidants from food. That will be on my website, so you can look at it. But it particularly goes through glutathione. So in this sort of times of COVID-19 and really trying to increase our immune system, we've now had, as I said, articles come up about glutathione. And this is an article that was published earlier, but really supports all that work and really supports our immune system. On to cooking. So our first soup is going to be our cauliflower and celery soup. So basically, I took some cauliflower that I had already cooked. It had been left over from the day before, and it was al dente, so I cooked it. I basically just warmed it up and added 2 white potatoes, and we're going to cream that. This is what the cauliflower soup looks like once it's been creamed. And this was the base, and now I'm going to add the celery. What I actually did is I steamed the celery like a double boiler over while I was cooking the cauliflower, and now you're just going to mix it in and add your salt to taste, and it's ready to enjoy a hearty and very healthy and healthful soup. And I don't know about you, but I like my cream soups kind of thick, so this is the consistency. Enjoy. So the next soup is our pumpkin and carrot soup with ginger. Now this is a recipe that I pretty much extrapolated from something else. There's a really good carrot and ginger recipe from IFM, and what I did is I added the pumpkin because I like doing it half and half. This is a type of pumpkin that is similar to an acorn squash, but you can also use a butternut squash, and it's pretty much half and half. So you cook it, cream it, add, depending on the amount that you're gonna make. So I did about 2 pounds of carrots and 2 pounds of the squash. And once cooked, I'm gonna add about 2 heaping tablespoons of coconut oil, and we're gonna mix it in, and then add your ginger. Now I love just fresh ginger that you can grate, but I didn't have that, so I went with the spice ginger. And a little bit of salt. I just added about half a teaspoon of salt, very little, and there you have it. The third soup is a hodgepodge. So I basically picked everything that I had in my refrigerator. So I had a little bit of celery, not very much, and I had some cooked kale, and I had some shoots, and I had some chard, and I basically just put it all together, and this is what we come up with. It's cream soup. You can add, as I said, more leafy vegetables to it. You can add your meat. You can basically add any spice, anything that you want. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this, but any green soup, I always add parsley, and or either parsley or cilantro, and then I'll add whatever spices I have in the house, which many times are, it could be marjoram, it could be thyme, it could be, I'm sorry, those are herbs, the spices, but I do add those as herbs. The spices I was talking about are paprika. I love paprika. It gives a very rich flavor. You can add all different types of pepper. We have one red pepper that we use here quite a bit. We actually make it sort of minced with a little bit of salt, but you can add any spice that you'd like and that sort of favors your fancy. I use a lot of cloves because cloves have a very high ORAC value. You could add the cloves to the carrot soup if you'd like. Cumin is another that I use quite a bit of, and cumin and carrots also go very well. So just experiment. And remember, these recipes are going to be part of a book that I'm writing on soups. So share them wisely, but realize that they're not yet copyrighted, but they will be soon. And enjoy.